Hello everyone! Okay, so now we are live for the how to make a paper mobile or a paper backdrop. So what I mean by the paper backdrop is this thing back here. So it's only, I need to do a lot more for it, but when I finish this it's going to be like just covering the entire back of my sofa, so that way when I do like a live stream or a live video or maybe a phone call with people, I can have a nice fun backdrop. So you can also just make these a little bit bigger, and I have an example in front of me here. So you can make it look nice, and it's like a fun, you can make it out of really nice washi paper, and it looks really, really nice. You can make it with fancy scissors so that the bottoms are a little bit more, you know, detailed and things like that. But let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm gonna put this down before I hurt it. Wow. Okay, let's flip this around. Woo. Okay. Make sure we are secure in there. And make sure everything is visible. Okay, so first off, what you're going to need is paper. Preferably origami paper. You definitely want it to be square if you can. So I just have some small, colorful origami paper. It's just white on the back side and colorful on the front. So it's a nice color, I like it. And then we're going to make it into this, and then we're going to string it all together. So you're also going to need some beads. I bought these at Daiso. They're small enough that you can't see them when they are strung up with everything else. You're also going to need a sewing needle, if you can see that. Just big enough so that you can handle it well. And you're also going to need some string. You can also use twine if it fits into your needle. You just got to be aware that it needs to fit in your needle. So you also need a glue stick, preferably, because other glues just don't dry very fast. And you also need some scissors. Okay, so let's get started. These things can come later. So they're going up there. Just for my table's sake, I am going to move you down here. Sorry. Alright, so just for the sake of my table, I'm going to have this here just to keep any glue off of it. So we're going to first, you can do this in multiple stacks, but just for showing you, I'm just going to do it with one. You're just going to cut this into a circle, and it's a lot easier when you have it just square origami paper, because you can make a perfect, or a relatively perfect circle out of it easily. It doesn't matter if it's not exactly perfect. If you want to get it perfect, you can find a lid or something off of one of your spice cans or something like that. And there we go. So a nice circle. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. I'm just gonna toss that away. Now what you're going to do, we're going to get the halfway. Okay, so you're just going, we are making these. We're making these little things. That way you can string them all together. Alright, so just to keep going here. If you do fall a little bit behind, you can always just go back to the beginning, see the examples, and then come back to the live portion of the video. So now what we're going to do with our perfect little circle here, we're going to cut it right in half. There we go. And we have two nice circles. So when you're planning on how many cones that you need, you just need to take into account that each square makes two of the cones. So you might not need quite as much paper as you anticipate. So what you're going to do first is take your glue, put it on about half of the paper. You're going to hold both sides and then just overlap them. I'll do another one closer to the screen so that way you can see a little bit easier. So there we go. We have cone number 1. You can see that there's a little tiny hole up here. So if you were using twine, it's feasible to get it through there, but it's not going to move very nicely or anything like that. So I'll do this next one closer to the screen so you can see how exactly I am pulling that in. I'm gluing it, and then I'm just taking one side down, taking the other one, overlapping it there, and just pushing on it to really get a nice looking cone. The nice thing about using a glue stick for this is that it is already dry, so you don't have to worry about sitting here for 5 minutes for each and every cone and just waiting for it to dry. So we have a lot of nice cones here. We are ready to go on to the next part. Now, I'm not going to use a lot of string just for ease of the tutorial. So I'm just going to get enough that it's manageable. It really just depends on how long you want your cones to dangle to. So if you want them to be floor length, or if you want them to just be, half of your wall, or however long, it's up to you entirely to decide that. You just want to measure it out for each one so that they're all pretty consistent. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to take one of the beads here, and I'm going to string it on here, get it towards the end. And this one is a little bit tricky, so I'm going to do a little bit closer. So how I do this is, the first one is the easiest. You just have to tie it on normally. Like with just your normal knot tying. It's nothing fancy. You're just tying it over and under. To secure it to the string. Okay, so we have our first one. There we go. I take this away because I don't need the glue anymore. And now you're just going to take this, you're going to take your needle and just push it through there and pull it on through down to the bottom bead. The bead holds it on to it so that it doesn't pull the string through. You can, if you're using like twine or something like that, you could tie a knot big enough to not need a bead. It's just really hard to use twine when it's such a small cone. I recommend, if you're going to use twine, use it for like a bigger 6" by 6" or piece of origami paper. I'm using 3" by 3" origami paper, so that's just something to keep in mind. So the next one is a little bit more difficult. So what you want to do, you're going to put another one on there. You're going to want to space it out just a little bit, because if you don't, then it's just going to look like this on your string, and that's not very fun. So what you're just going to need to do, I like to do it about 2 or 1.5 fingers above the last one, just so that you don't see too much string when it's hanging up. And I have the bead resting on my finger here. Let me try and get it to focus on my fingers. Please, please, please. Focus on my fingers. Okay, there we go. So I have it resting on my fingers. I'm just going to wrap it around my finger and cross the string over the, so it's like, I'll do it again. So you're going around your finger and you're crossing over the string right underneath the bead. So then you're going to push the string off of your finger with your other finger, with your middle finger, and you're going to take your needle and go through the bead. And careful not to get any knots. There we go. And this allows you to get a nice secure little knot there. And you can still move it, so if it ended up being like way up here and you don't want it that far up, or you want it a little bit lower, you can move it just by gently tugging at it a little bit. So, I've got it in the right place now. I'm going to do the same thing just to make sure that it is tied so it does not move anymore. So I'm going around the finger, across the earlier thread, pull it off of my finger, and go through this loop using the string. Oh dear. And you're just going to make sure that it is going to knot nicely. I want you to focus on my fingers. Bam. Okay. Now it's not going to move anymore, so you don't have to worry that it's going to change later. Now we're just going to take another one of our cones, go through the top. There should already be a little hole. If not, you can push through it. Should have a little crease. And we have two. You can get really creative with the colors you choose. I chose, when I was doing mine, white. I was originally going to do it entirely white, and then I chose to incorporate some nice aqua and dark purple, and it's a lot of fun looking. So you can keep doing this. It's once you get used to it, it's just a matter of repetitive motions. It can be really quick. Woo. You just smash it out. And I like where it's at because I was measuring it with my fingers before. And now, once you get the repetitive motion down, you can really get it done quickly. So I'm just a procrastinator who's slow, and so that's why mine has taken so long for me to finish. But you can definitely get this done in like a couple of days of just, working. If you do make them bigger, it's also going to help you get it done a lot quicker as well. So that is the Paper Mobile backdrop. So the same thing is for, the same thing, but in a bigger kind of format is what the original Paper Mobile backdrop was supposed to be. So we have that. So the example that I showed you earlier, if I can find where the beginning of it is. So this one, I'm gonna try and, I realize I'm upside down now. I was going to do that, but that's not going to work very well. So I have used a large 6x6 inch piece of origami paper to make these. So it's really nice washi paper. If you want this, you can purchase if you want something similar to this, I should say, we are going to have Paper Mobile kits available. So it includes everything you need except for the glue. So it has the string, it has the needle, and it has, not this paper, but it has nice origami paper. Let me grab the one for example's sake. Let me just put this. This is going here. So I have picked up a lot of nice origami paper, so you can choose what colors you want. If you just give me the top 3 favorite colors that you have, I'll try to get some that have the most of that color in it. So I also have another one of these that has different patterns in it. So there you go, there's that. So we have this is what the paper origami kits are going to look like if you do purchase one. So let me show you a little bit more. I'm just gonna take this out. Sorry. Woo. Okay. Hi, Fiona. Sorry. Hi. Fiona is being really awesome and helping me today. Can you actually hold this so I can showcase this a bit? So this is the Paper Mobile. So it's very large. You can hang it from your ceiling. I'm going to include enough that you could feasibly hang it from your ceiling. And you can decorate it however you like. You can do whatever pattern you want. There you go. Yeah. I'm going to, since we have extra time, I'm going to show you how to make a really nice origami paper mobile kit, or paper mobile. So, let's do that. Alright. There we go. And, which way are we? Here we go. You guys getting nice little random shots of my apartment, sorry. Okay.